Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. We are waking up to beautiful conditions, but we are tracking a few showers for Saturday afternoon, so definitely keep it here. We'll have a look at that forecast and what to expect heading into next week. We also have cooler temperatures to talk about in that forecast, so you definitely don't want to miss this. Keep it here. We'll have a look at that forecast coming up in just a bit.
Cooler temperatures, fall is on the way. All right, Brittany, thank you. Developing this morning a crash involving a vehicle that normally responds to accidents. What we're learning this morning about the ambulance collision in the district last night and why, surprisingly, it isn't the first crash involving an emergency vehicle this week.
Also this morning, we're talking your money. It's an announcement that's music to millions of Americans' ears, but what are the hidden details of President Biden's new plan to forgive student loans? We have in-depth reporting on the student loan crisis this morning.
And another chapter in the troubled fate of former President Donald Trump. What newly released court documents reveal about that FBI raid in Mar-a-Lago. Well, good Saturday morning to you. A live look at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue as President Biden wakes up to a beautiful day. It's hot and it's muggy outside, but we're still having a good time here in the studio. You're watching DC News Now. I'm Joseph Olmo.
And I'm Michaela Newton. We'll get to our top stories in just a few minutes. But first, I'm excited because, you know, summer's kind of wrapping up a little bit, but hopefully we'll get some nice weather to wrap up.
Translation, get that pumpkin spice up.
Yeah,
get it ready.
I'm excited for that.
Can you guys believe it's literally the last weekend of August?
I cannot believe that.
I mean, fall is literally knocking on our door.
You were saying that a couple seconds ago. Like in a couple days, it's going to be September of 2022. Time flies.
So get ready for that. And guys, I'm going to be honest, it's shaping out to be a beautiful Saturday out there. We're taking a look at satellite and radar. The past couple of hours, really not much has been happening. We've seen a few clouds across our area, but overall, we woke up to drier conditions. That's going to be the trend heading into our Saturday morning, but we are tracking a few showers that will work its way into our area as we head into the afternoon. We take a wider view of satellite and radar. We do have that cold front that moved in late last night. It's currently over the Chesapeake Bay, stalling out, which is why we do have a few chances for some light showers this afternoon. Not going to be a complete washout though, so if you do have any plans today, definitely go ahead and go outside and enjoy it. Just be mindful, you could see a few showers. Temperature wise, we are pretty warm out there. Some of us still in the 70s while others are in the 60s, but guys, we have a cool down on the way. It's going to be feeling like fall as we head into next week, so keep it here. We'll have a look at that forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, Brittany Ward to always start us off there in the Weather Center. Brittany, we appreciate it. Developing now, police in Washington, D.C., they are investigating a crash that happened in Northeast last night, but this is no ordinary crash. This one involved an ambulance. That's
right. It happened on the area of New York and Florida Avenues just after 6 p.m. Now, our crews saw a few patrol cars there, but the scene was clear when we arrived, and an officer told us there were no reported injuries, but it comes less than a day after another crash with a first responder vehicle.
Yeah, the news of that other crash first broke on Thursday. Take a look there when a police cruiser was involved in a wreck. That police cruiser was going really fast because it was on its way to a shooting investigation. 5 people were hurt in that crash. All right, we got some breaking news this hour. A woman is in the hospital after an overnight shooting in Langley Park, Maryland. Our contributor Larry Calhoun with DC Real-Time News, who stays up listening to those police scanners, he reports that investigators found the 23-year-old with at least 7 gunshot wounds. According to Calhoun's latest update, though, her vitals are looking good.
And the Biden administration's ghost gun rule went into effect this week. It requires serial numbers on all guns and background checks for those buying kits to build their own guns. Our Daniel Hamburg explains how this might affect gun violence in the DMV.
Ghost guns are guns that are untraceable or built from a kit with no serial number. D.C. Council banned them in 2020, but even so, the problem has gotten worse.
There's a lot of guns in this city, and this police department has seized more guns this year already than all of this time last year. We're over 2,000 guns recovered.
Of those 2,000, 344 were ghost guns. You can see in this chart the number of ghost guns seized by police in D.C. and Maryland continues to rise.
One of the reasons why gun violence has continued to skyrocket and raise is because of the availability of weapons And this ghost gun market has made that so much worse.
In April, President Biden announced a new federal rule requiring background checks for anyone who purchases a build-your-own gun kit and requiring sellers to put serial numbers on new parts. If a dealer wants to resell a gun without a serial number, they have to add one.
This rule will have a critical effect in ensuring that the problem doesn't continue to grow, and it is an absolutely vital first step in the equation to be able to get a handle on this market.
This week, a federal judge denied a request to pause the rule, so the Department of Justice is now enforcing it.
What the state laws are doing are more comprehensive than what we have with this federal regulatory change, which is why we are still urging at Brady that Congress take the proactive measures to not only deal with the prospective weapons, but those weapons that are in circulation.
Aiden Johnston with Gun Owners of America, one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, said in a statement, quote, Biden's so-called ghost gun ban will not save lives, reduce crime, or do anything besides infringe on the rights of law-abiding citizens. Going on to say the rule is a violation of the Second Amendment, and GOA is committed to continue the fight with our lawsuit, Morehouse Enterprises versus ATF, and in the next pro-gun Congress. Reporting for DC News Now, I'm Daniel Hamburg.
And Maryland's ghost gun ban went into effect earlier this year. Meanwhile, in Virginia, the legislature failed to pass similar legislation last year.
Well, student loan forgiveness is one of the most talked about topics around the nation this week, no doubt about it. But while the biggest headline is the thousands of dollars in loan forgiveness, we're taking a look at the fine print. Jillian Andrews with our sister station, 22 News, spotlights those details and speaks with the people who are going to be directly impacted by this new policy.
Millions of Americans will qualify for President Biden's new student loan forgiveness plan. Those who make less than $125,000 a year individually will receive $10,000 in forgiveness on federal student loans.
I have a buddy of mine who has student loans, and it's always been something that he's always been wanting to fix on his credit report.
All federal undergraduate, graduate, and Parent Plus loans will qualify under the plan. Private loans do not. The forgiveness will entirely eliminate student loan debt for 14 million Americans. But for millions of others, the burden will remain.
I think they should do more. I don't think $10,000, what's $10,000 going to do? I have like a student loan of $100,000. Like, what is that going to do?
The repayment freeze has been extended for the final time through the end of 2022. Once payments resume, borrowers will have the option to cap their monthly payments at 5% of their monthly income. Students who went to college on Pell Grants are eligible for an additional $10,000 in forgiveness. Federal Pell Grants are usually awarded only to undergraduate students who display exceptional financial need. Working for you, Jillian Andrews, 22 News.
All right, Jillian, thank you. Another big question this morning, will this forgiveness come back to bite you on your tax return? Well, traditionally, any forgiven debt gets added to your income and is reflected on your taxes that year. But according to the Tax Foundation, President Biden's loan forgiveness is exempt from any federal tax. That doesn't mean you're entirely in the clear, though. Some states like Virginia and West Virginia, they could potentially impose a state tax on the forgiveness. So be on the lookout for that. Those Parent Plus loans are also eligible for forgiveness, so they could be taxed as well in those states. Again, be on the lookout.
Now, while most people won't have to include the loan forgiveness on their personal tax returns, critics say that President's plan could cost even more for taxpayers. And that's because of the inclusion of up to $20,000 in forgiveness for Pell Grant borrowers and a 5% cap on repayment of undergraduate loans based on monthly income. Now, Republicans like Congresswoman Elise Stefanik sharply criticize the plan, saying it overlooks blue-collar workers. Take a listen.
I represent a district where the vast majority of individuals do not have a college degree, and their taxpayer dollars are going to bail out the richest people.
Now, the Congressional Budget Office has not evaluated the total cost of the policy.
All right, trending now. Double standard, perhaps? No doubt the forgiveness of federal student loans has been the talk of the week. Listen, it's a polarizing story. We get it. But in a series of viral tweets, which we're going to bring up here in a second for you, the White House is firing back at several Republican Congress members who are criticizing the president's forgiveness plan. Yes, the official White House Twitter replied to their critics by showing the amount of PPP loans. Remember those? The Paycheck Protection Program that was a lifeline for businesses during the pandemic. The White House is showing the amount of PPP PPP loan money that they say these lawmakers were forgiven, some of these lawmakers. So the first tweet responds to video of Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Greene Taylor saying that the plan is unfair to those who have no loan debt. The White House says she had a $183,000 loan forgiven. According to another tweet, the White House says Florida Representative Vern Buchanan had $2.3 million in loans forgiven because of the PPP program. And a bit closer to our region, Pennsylvania Representative Mike Calley had nearly $1 million. Look at that, $987,237 of debt wiped away, according to this thread. Now, while lawmakers clash over President Biden's decision, many people are saying the cost of education is the root of the problem. And according to this News Nation poll, the majority of people blame the colleges themselves. If you take a look, this large green section here, 52.41%, that represents the people, that puts the blame rather on colleges and universities for rising the cost of higher education. In second place was the federal government. 18% of people blame our lawmakers. Now, despite all of this, 70% of people say colleges and universities don't get enough funding from the government and should receive more money.